Hi everyone, this is Zeke Meyer. I wanted to provide you an update in an MP4 file since I've used that language before, and there were several questions about what would that look like and how would it work. So the file that you have just clicked on and is now playing, if you're hearing this and seeing this, is actually an MP4 file. It's probably a file that is more familiar by having that traditional play button that we're all used to. But nonetheless, that's what we were talking about as using that file format. And it may be a different file format, but essentially it would look the same when it's actually run the evening of the event. So this is essentially what you'd expect to see and hear. What I want to talk with you about is the approach that we're planning for the celebration of the names, the timing or the total timing that we think it would take to do that, give you an update on the standardized slide and what we mean by that, and then the latter portion of this and the whole reason why I'm doing this in an MP4 is so that you'll get a feel for what it looks like, and that's so everybody will have a common baseline as far as what an MP4 is and how it works. So let's start off with approach. The current approach is that we would do essentially two things. We'll have a celebration of non-US lives and then a celebration of US lives. What we'll do is we'll just continue to rotate through that series. So it would start with a reading of non-US lives names. So we'd celebrate those lives by reading the names. It would be in a pre-recorded file, much like this one. Simply click on it. You'd have the audio portion, which you're hearing right now, the visual portion, which you'd see on screen. This visual portion that you're seeing actually comes from a PowerPoint slide. So that's the AV portion that would be presented on screen to the attendees who are live to the event. Then we would actually showcase a US live by having a presenter at the microphone the evening of the event. Then we would go back to a reading of the non-US lives or names, approximately 20 again, in a little pre-recorded standalone file. Click on that, run that. When that concludes, we go back to another presenter at the microphone, have them showcase a US live or potentially two, and then again rotate back to the pre-recorded video. So it's just a cyclical format here, rotating between celebrating non-US lives and US lives, with the US lives being showcased with a little bit more detail around that live. All right, so if we do it in that format or that approach, then what it comes to as far as the timing, it appears that it'll take about 1 minute to read 20 names. We anticipate approximately 200 total names to be read. Therefore, we multiply that by 10. So we know that it'll take us a minimum of 10 minutes to read all of the non-US lives names. Then we talked about showcasing each US live for approximately 1 minute, giving a little bit more of a bio, bringing that person to life, so to speak. Perhaps their favorite things to do in life, where they're from, just a little bit of history, and really bringing that person to life for the attendees. If we do that for a minimum of 20 names, thank you, Jamie, for providing me the list to date. We know there are actually 21 lives that we would celebrate to date. Then we're talking about, again, a minimum of 20 minutes. So when we combine those two, the reading of the non-US lives plus the US lives, we know that we're at a total minimum of 30 minutes of our, what we said would be a 45-minute to 1 hour service. So keep that in mind. We're talking about 30 minutes total time to just read the names and to showcase those lives with 1 minute per live bio. All right, so when we talk about this standardized approach for the PowerPoint slide, what we're looking at doing is, with Louise's oversight, we'll create a PowerPoint slide, and what we'll do is we'll just, as the names are released, we'll actually copy paste those names into the slide. Then we'll need to secure speakers, which is essentially what I'm doing right now, that will just read the list of names. And we talked about having those individuals who would be, for example, native speakers, so that they can actually increase the likelihood of capturing the correct pronunciation to honor that life. So you'd have those standardized slides. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pull up a list of names, and I'll actually read these names, and that'll give you a feel for what it looks like and what it feels like to have read 20 names within the course of 1 minute time. Pappy Edwards, Lamaya Beard, Ty Underwood, Yasmin Payne, Taja DeJesus, Penny Proud, Bree Golick, Christina Reinwald, Keisha Blige, Maya Hall, London Kiki Chanel, Mercedes Williamson, Jasmine Collins, Ashton O'Hara, India Clark, Casey Haggard, Sade Schuler, Amber Monroe, Candice Capri, Alicia Walker.